So yesterday, um, I was kind of beating myself up over my situation from this past weekend with the whole DUI thing, and I had asked myself, why do I always have to learn things the hard way? Well, today I answered myself to that question, and that my answer that I came up with is, hey, at least you're learning, and learning I am indeed. um, Today was a very interesting day, and I realized a lot about myself. I realized that I am a fighter, and that no matter what the situation does bring, I am going to be okay because I am a fighter, and I will continue to learn, and I will continue to grow. Um, this morning started off a little rough, and this is what brought me to this realization. A coworker, and not the one that I don't already get along with, but she was acting up today too, but we'll get to that. A coworker who I actually get along with, a coworker who I would give rides home to when she didn't have a car, and who I felt like we got pretty close, and who I felt was an ally, blew up on me today over me just honestly just trying to help. As some of you may know, I work for the company Romantics, which is an adult store. I work for their warehouse. And so we get these tickets called pick tickets, and what a pick ticket is a list of items that we have to go through and pick, go through all the aisles and pick whatever items are on that list, pick them and put them on the rollers for packers to pack, correct? I think I'm explaining that right. So anyway, on this pick ticket she had, and which I had yesterday, and that's how I know, was a double location and a double item. So it was the same item in the same location, but it was on there twice. But it only let you scan it in once. So by the end of the ticket, it would say one item left unscanned. And I think I'm explaining that right. And so what we had to do in a situation like that is take it to the boss after we completed our ticket and closed it out. And that way he could enter it into his system or whatever and take that one line off so that the packers could complete packing it on their end. Well, I explained this to her, but I wasn't sure if I explained it right, because as you all see, I'm not always the best at explaining things. Things get a little mumbled in my head, and a little, everything just kind of, gets a little crazy in there. So I wasn't sure if I explained myself right. And after I got to explain that to her, I asked her, I was like, did you get that, And she shook her head, but I'm sitting there still packing, or she's not packing, I'm sitting there still picking, I'm behind her still picking things, so I'm not paying attention to her body movements, I'm doing my job too, as well as trying to talk to her and explain this to her. And so I didn't see her shake her head yes, but apparently she shook her head yes. And so I asked again, I was like, did I explain that right? Or did I explain to myself, was that okay, And I didn't hear her say yeah, and so I was like, you said yeah, right? And she said, Romez, for the last time, yes. I shook my head, and she gets like really aggressive with me, and I was like, whoa, I was like, I'm sorry, like, calm down. And she's like, well, you don't know what the fuck is going on. And like, I'm like, whoa, dude, like, we all have baggage, we all have shit that we're going through. Like, I pretty much is almost fucking at my freedom from this past weekend. Like, I got a DUI, like, everything I've worked so hard for with my recovery and everything, like my credibility with people, like I feel like all of that is on the line right now for me, and that is a lot for me to deal with. And you don't see me coming to work and blowing up with, on to coworkers, especially coworkers who I felt were allies. You don't see me blowing up. You don't see me taking my attitude to work, basically is what I'm saying, And that's kind of what I told her, and she was just like, okay, well, just drop it. And I'm like, I feel like I need an apology, you know what I mean? Like, especially for someone who I felt was an ally, someone who I used to give rides home to and was helping out when she needed help. Like, you know what I mean? And for her to just disrespect me like that and blow up on me like that, I think it's a bunch of bullshit. And so we kind of did get into a little conversation, but I felt like I handled it okay. I was like, I just kept calm and just was like, well, dude, like, you can't bring your attitude to work. Like, that's not cool. You need to, like, check yourself. And I didn't really say it like that, and I felt like I was respectful, but apparently she didn't, because she was like, dude, just drop it, still being real aggressive. And, and she is right, like, I don't know what's going on in her life, but that still doesn't give her the right to blow up on anyone like that. Anyone doesn't have the right to blow up on anyone like that just for their shit, for the shit they're going through. You know what I mean? And also maybe if you would open up to people and not keep your walls up, people would know what's going on in your life. You know what I mean? Instead of just blowing up on them like that. You know what I mean? Like, open up. It's like, hey, dude, like, I'm sorry, like, this is what I'm going through, like, you know, and I still never got that. By the end of the day, I never got that. And so, like, I kind of lost a lot of respect for her today, and that's the same reason why I don't get along with my other coworker, Zane, because situations like that, you know, I don't get along with hot-headed people who blow up on other people and take their anger out on other people. I don't get along with petty people, and I don't get along with people who aren't team players. And speaking of team players, Zane was another one testing that today. He was literally just walking around the aisles with his arms behind his back and everything. He put his cart to the side, stopped literally working, and just walking up and down aisles, not working, not doing a damn thing. And I know he was doing it because he saw me and my other coworker get into it, and he figured, I just what I'm guessing, he probably figured, oh, well, Romez is already on edge. Let's see how much we could push him. And so between those two today, like, I felt like I was tested a lot. And that's when I came to the realization, like, I've been through way too much in my life and way worse to let something like this mess up my day. So I continued just to do my job. I continued to work, and I continued to work with a smile. I'm not going to lie, it bothered me for a while at least, but I pushed through and I continued to kill it. Well, I felt like I killed it at work. And, you know, I enjoyed the rest of my day. You know, I went to my group meetings. I went and saw my drug counselor at UC Health and talked about my DUI incident. And I pushed through my day and I had a good day. You know what I mean? So, like, I realized through that I'm a fighter. So, in a way, thank you for blowing up on me, you know? But at the same time, it's like, it is a little discouraging when you think you have more loyalty with someone and they kind of let you down that way. But like I said, it's not going to bother me at all because, you know, like I said, I understand, you know, she probably is going through some stuff. Last thing she told me about in her life was that she's going through things with, you know, her and her child. So it's like, you know, I understand that. But at the end of the day, like I said earlier, it's no reason to blow up on someone, especially when they're just trying to help out. And I was honestly just trying to understand, like, make sure she understood what I said, because I know I'm not the best at explaining things, you know. But anyway, in group meeting today, we discussed what we felt is our safe zone and what kind of behavioral patterns and thoughts or emotions we feel lead us to being at risk of relapsing, and what we think a relapse is, and if a relapse does happen, what do we see at the end of the road of that relapse. And my group counselor was kind of really impressed with what I said, so I want to share it with you guys. What I think a relapse is and what the end of the road of relapse looks like. And I want to share, what my personal thoughts of being at risk of a relapse would be for thoughts, emotions, or behavioral patterns. So this is what relapse to me is. Relapse is getting clean, getting sober, getting your life back together, taking all your control back from the drugs to gain freedom again, and working so hard to maintain all that. Only to one day fuck it all up because you decide to abuse the freedom you have, to use what you think will only be one time once more, and in the result of that, everything you worked so hard for, losing it. You've fallen back into the hole you got yourself out of, only this time hitting rock bottom much harder, much quicker, with less hope in yourself than before. Less trust, less support. Everything is at risk when you relapse. And for me, like, I wrote, like, at the end of the road, like, what do you see after a relapse? And for me, just because I don't see no option in relapsing, like, I don't play with the idea of it. I don't fantasize it anymore. After this DUI, I don't even want to drink anymore. I have fun. I could have fun on life. You know, like, I could be high off life. You know, I could honestly just get down and get jiggy with it, you know what I mean? Not have to have drinks to do so, you know? But so if I relapse, this is what the end of the road of relapse looks like for me, and a lot of you might be able to relate to it. The end of the road after relapse is living in limbo. Same shit, different day, feeling shitty about yourself, just wanting to die, waiting to die, feeling like you are a prisoner to your own addictions. The fear that you can never get clean will consume you again and become you. And for some, it can be a learning lesson, but for me, I cannot relapse, and this is why. Because if I do, I might as well do enough shit to overdose and die. I will not let myself feel these ways at all anymore. And that's why I refuse to relapse. And so I guess at the end of the road, it is, I guess, you know, the end of the road is just not the end of the road for me, because there is no relapse for me. And I know that because, like, I'm able to see, like, some of my behavioral patterns and my thoughts or emotions that do kind of, that might cause me to relapse. And I'm able to take a step back. Like, our top 3 that she had us do, mine were dwelling on mistakes, which I was doing this weekend, and it was making me feel shitty about myself. And I was like, fuck, I fucked up. I should have never got that DUI. Like, I fucked up. And I was beating myself up about it to the point where I couldn't even enjoy my workout at the gym last night. But, you know, today was a different day, you know, and I, you know, talking to my counselors and everything. I got my temporary permit taken care of already. All I need to do now is just get a public defender and wait for my ticket to come in for my DOR hearing. And, you know, like, I pushed through that. You know, I didn't dwell on the mistakes anymore. And then my second one was I could use once and be fine. Every time I do have a minor trigger, I think about it. I'm like, could you use once and be fine? And no. Truth of the matter is no one can. Especially when you're a full-blown addict. Like, you use once, it's going to happen again. And for me, even if I were to get away with it and no one were to find out about it, I would know about it. And it would eat me up inside, and it would cause me to use even more after that because of the guilt and the shame. And then eventually someone else will find out, and then I'll feel bad because I'll lose their support and their trust. And it'll just all go downhill from there. So that's why I'm saying there's just no chance of me relapsing. Once, not even a chance. And then there's the third one, which is an emotion and a feeling and a thought, I guess. Or feelings are emotions. But it's the emotion and the thought of just wanting to die. You know, like when you just get so stressed out. You know, not saying I'm suicidal or anything, because I'm not. Suicide is a very shitty thing and selfish to do to the people that love you. But but I understand that some people, you know, I understand why some people want to die, and I do get that feeling a lot, like, oh god, like today was just the worst day, I just want to die, you know what I mean? Like, but that's when you take a step back from those thoughts and you get up and get active and do something about it, and you just push through. And that's really a lot of what I did today. I pushed through. And I didn't let people get to me. I didn't let people dictate my day. You know, I didn't let people get a reaction out of me. I continued to just do me and live my best life, you know. And honestly, that felt so great. And I gotta say, like, I'm proud of myself, you know. I don't mean to, like, toot my own horn, but toot motherfuckers, you know. Like, I got this shit in the bag, you know, and things are going to get bumpy and there's going to be hiccups in the road, like, you know, this DUI incident, but you learn and you grow. And like Fiona Apple says, a mistake is never a mistake if you can learn from it. But other than that, yeah, I might have a poem in the next video. I know I have a few. I just got to pull out my phone and turn it on. Maybe I'll just do that now as I'm talking. So another thing that's been helping me out lately, of course, the gym. I went to my team training class today, and I do realize and admit that I do need help in the gym area. Like I work out so much better when I have a trainer or a team there with me. And today was a great day at the gym. You know, I was actually motivated and got a good workout in. Our new team trainer there at Vasa Fitness was actually he had more energy than even I think I have sometimes. He was running circles on himself, which is a good thing, you know, but it was like the hardest pinnacle training class I've had so far. It was great though. It was, not gonna lie, it was great. But yeah, I realized, you know, I need help in the gym, and which I'm glad about the fact that I am getting help for that personal trainer that I was stressing so much about. Because I'm going to have to start paying now September $140 bi-weekly because I'm in contract with the personal trainer. And so it totals out to like $1,600. And someone offered to pay a portion of that for me. Well, a program offered to pay a portion of that for me. And I'm not sure if I could give them a shout out and, thanks. But if they are watching this, I'm really thankful because the gym has been such a huge part in my recovery and staying in recovery. Like it's my outlet, like when I'm there, I'm in the zone, especially in those team training classes or with my personal trainer, like I'm in that zone and I'm just in there to kill it. And, in this whole DUI incident, like my stepdad told me when I told him that I was still drinking a little bit on the weekends, in social situations, he told me, he's like, well, I didn't think you're all that serious about your recovery, and he said that he felt I was just kind of floating on that fence, of recovery, like I was just playing along that fence. And now after this DUI, I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to get into the yard and I want to lock up that gate, I don't want to float on that fence anymore. I'm 200% committed to my recovery now, and I fine with not using anything to alternate my mind, you know what I mean? I fine with no alternating mind substances. Like I have fun just being my own hyper ADHD manic self, I'm fine being me. Like being in recovery has brought me a new found confidence that I've never really had before, and I owe a lot to the gym. I owe a lot to UC Health. I owe a lot to the arts program here in Denver, Addiction Research and Treatment Center. I owe a lot to my counselors. I owe a lot to my job, Romantics. I owe a lot to Vasa Fitness. I think I already said the gym. And I owe a lot to myself and my family and my friends, and I have so much gratitude, and I'm just so thankful for everything because it's an awakening, it really is just so, I'm so alive nowadays, and it feels good. It feels really good. Where was I going with this? I was going somewhere with this. Oh, and a huge thanks and shout out also to Chelsea Handler. I've been listening to her podcast lately, For Life Will Be the Death of Me, and hearing everything she's going through with her therapist and her learning and growing process is like, it's so relatable. And her loss with her brother, my loss of my sister, and like the way it affected her, and like everything's so relatable with those podcasts. Like I think I've listened to every single one already, and I just want to give a shout out to Chelsea Handler in that podcast. If you guys have iHeartRadio or anywhere you guys listen to podcasts, I definitely recommend checking that podcast out because it is informative, hilarious, entertaining, and relatable in all ways, shapes, and forms. And if I could meet Chelsea Handler one day, I think that'd be fucking awesome. I think I could learn a lot from her. And I don't know if she would like me because Chelsea's she can be aggressive sometimes, but she's learning. She's learning to be more empathic. But yeah, I owe a lot to all these people. People I haven't even met, like Chelsea Handler. People that may not even know that they have made such an impact on my recovery and continue to do so. It's been